So we're gonna have a deck dinner now. This is kalonji, and it's sprouting there. It's looking really cute. And later on today, James is going to eat these black mung beans on sprouted. They're really cute too. They have their little tails coming out. And sunflower seeds sprouted. And but right now he's just having the stir fry without that, because I've noticed the weather was changing. I was looking through the window while I was juicing, and I'm like, we better get out there.
Yeah, she noticed.
So I haven't put my food out.
We've got a Chinook arch in the south.
Yeah.
Which means the wind shifted to the northwest. And it hasn't got cool yet, but it will be a blast of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and then it will probably melt and things like that.
But I'm hoping I'll get the rest of these videos up to try to help weather you through this corona thing. But anyway, even if I don't, at least I'll have the stuff out for the next one, because this corona is just a test.
It's just the beginning. Yeah.
When you look at that map, or any map that you're checking day by day where it's growing, other people are looking at that map too, and they're noticing whose boundaries are not covered, who doesn't have it under control, because the next one's going to really be a killer, or the next one.
Yeah, you know, I was looking at the stats. You know, Russia has a big long boundary with China, and they've got 20 cases that they're reporting. 20 cases, that's amazing. You know, like Iran, I don't think has a border with China, and they've got, what is it, 9,000 cases or something?
So
I'm
anyway,
a little suspicious.
The asparagus, yeah, it's almost like Russia already had a vaccine or something.
I think
administered to their people.
Since SARS, they were working on a vaccine for this thing that they let loose in China. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
they had a lot
you
of
don't
time,
know.
Right?
You don't know who let it
It's
loose.
looking very
But
suspicious
it's looking
right
suspicious.
now.
But you don't know, right? It could be. They always say hindsight is 20/20. So for me, like, James keeps up on these details and he brings them back to me, and other people are telling me, I don't care about that. What I care about is trying to keep you healthy. So I know that James's immunity is going to be less, not only because he has cancer, but he's taking the chemo. And
I'm quintuply immunosuppressed.
Yeah. And so
3 chemos, and then the type
he's
of
eating
cancer
bok choy and all sorts of healthy things in that stir fry, and I just steamed up that asparagus.
Yeah.
And he's going to drink the lineup. That's ginger and turmeric, asparagus.
Okay.
This is the stems from the bottom of the asparagus. So I don't waste any of the asparagus. Even the hard woody stems get juice. And then red cabbage. And grapes.
Yeah,
so later on he'll be able to have these sprouts.
Yeah, I'm only going to drink these two. I haven't checked
do what you want to
see if the ginger. This is just for people who I haven't checked to see if the ginger and turmeric will be compatible with the chemo that I've just started. So.
And I'm going to be talking about Foundations of Western Civilization 2, which is awesome.
Yeah,
Borrow it from your local public library.
Yeah, exactly right.
This Professor Robert Buchholz.
It's kind of misspelled. It should have 2 H's, but maybe so it means beach.
But this happens to names over the while, right?
Exactly right. What they've done is they've just taken 2 H's and scrunched them together.
Yep.
So it's something like beechwood or something like that. Very descriptive.
Anyway, what I really like about this is the first time I've ever seen it in a great course, accompanying textbook or whatever the book that goes along. And it's the first time I've seen it in any textbook, honestly. Corrections. He has corrections when he says something during the lecture. It's in the book. This should have been that, or da da da, which is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, that is usually people don't want to draw attention to the fact that they make mistakes at all.
Yeah.
So what an awesome guy that he's willing to do that.
I've run across places where they've had mistakes in the lectures and the grade courses.
Yeah.
It happens. Professors make
mistakes
in their lectures from their notes, and I will correct them at university. Very rarely do I correct them during class. I'll wait until the end of the class, or if it's a night class. the break. That gives them a chance to correct it.
Yeah. And a lot of the
The
time,
one guy I did, who was a nasty guy, I felt like putting my hand up in class. He didn't correct it. He corrected him at the break.
Yeah.
He was really high.
Well, some people are they really take it hard. They don't want anybody to notice that they've made a mistake, and they definitely don't want to admit to it to themselves or anyone else. But the worst,
and he wanted to make sure he punished me. I was an A+ student in this is astronomy, and there were essay questions. A- on my final mark.
Yeah.
He's dead now, so otherwise I'd be saying thank you, buddy.
But honestly, the worst people in society, really, they're the guys that make mistakes, university profs or whoever, and then they won't admit to it. Well, that's tough. But worse than them are absolutely ignorant people who never try to learn for themselves, and then if they'll try to quiz you on something that they know, and then if you don't know, if you say, oh, well, I don't know that or whatever, oh, well, then they think they're superior to you. It's ridiculous, honestly. They have no concept of how little they know. Mm-hmm. And yes, you can know one thing that somebody who's been studying for years on whatever subject, but honestly, or even you may not know that. The worst people actually are the idiots who they're using their smartphone to look some trivial fact up, and then it'll be something like, who's the bass player for the 1967, and who cares, right? True. Whatever, honestly. Okay, I gotta get finished with this lecture. So, Nazi Germany is where I left off, to page 269. In 1924, Mussolini suspended the constitution and assumed full dictatorial powers. In 1926, he outlawed all political opposition. In 1929, the Vatican signed the Fourth Lateran Treaty. The treaty created the political state of Vatican City, guaranteeing full sovereignty for the Pope. Roman Catholicism was recognized as the official religion of Italy. Hitler promised to encourage a healthy German middle class, yet also to nationalize all industry. He promised to give workers a share of the profits of industry and give jobs held by Jews to Aryans.
The Aryans just wouldn't have been as qualified. The smartest people in Germany would have been Jews, on average.
Fire at the Reichstag. In response to the fire, President von Hindenburg and Chancellor Hitler suspended civil liberties under a constitutional provision: free expression of opinion, freedom of press, right of assembly and association, the right of privacy, protection against unlawful search and seizure, and individual property rights were all swept away. Nazi stormtroopers engaged in physical intimidation and ballot box stuffing. The Reichstag outlawed all other political parties and gave Hitler full dictatorial powers for 4 years. The press, books, films, art, and music were all strictly censored. In popular European folklore, Jews consorted with the devil, abducting and sacrificing Christian children in their religious observances, the blood libel. So all sorts of crazy rumors going around. On 7 April, Jews were formally excluded from civil service jobs. In 1934, the government imposed strict quotas on Jews at universities. In 1938, Jews were banned from the practice of medicine and law and forced to register their property with the government, later confiscated and sold to Aryans. In the fall of 1942, they introduced cyanide gas produced from Zyklon B, a pesticide. By liberation in 1945, at least 6 million Jews, including 1.5 million children, 3.5 million Soviet soldiers, and 1.5 million Poles, had been slaughtered. The first act of aggression leading to World War II was the Japanese invasion of Manchuria in 1931.
That's good. It really should be considered the beginning of World War II, 1937. Also the Spanish Civil War, which maybe started a little bit before
following its invasion of the rest of northern China in 1937. Yeah. Japan feared the rise of the Chinese Communist movement, which they believed would ally with the Soviet Union and outrun Asia.
Overrun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Overrun. So that's all I had for notes for Western civilization, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the time being.
No, that's it. That's all I had.
Whatever. Okay.
I didn't bother with the rest of the stuff. There's a lot more on, like, if you want to talk about it, James, you can
I will.
totally talk about that stuff. I stopped at the Nazi stuff because that's all my research, what I'm doing, trying to figure out, that's where I am, the before and after, right there. And, but I should be looking at all of it. I don't have enough time to focus on everything, so I listened to the stuff, I didn't make notes, because
Sure.
it takes time.
Now you're taking a lot of notes on business stuff, eh?
Yeah.
A lot of notes to be taken there.
Sure. So, the stuff to come is going to be pretty boring compared to this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you found history boring, oh well, you're really in for something.
Well, the big thing is, business is boring.
Yeah.
You know, business guys aren't warriors. They're not out there fighting. They steal. They don't rob, right?
Yeah.
So it's
All
not
right.
the same thing.
But anyway, James might talk about the Soviet challenge later on, and all
There's
that
a lot
sort
to
of
be
stuff.
said.
There's quite a few lectures. Like, I stopped basically at 44, lecture 44, and it goes to lecture 48. So, and these are 48 lectures in this set, each of them a half an hour long. So this is substantial, and
24 hours of
impressive. The guy did an awesome job.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the way he ended off the series of lectures in this.
yeah.
He basically said that why Western civilization is so great is because they try to be civilized. People in Western civilization try to be civilized, and
They failed.
where
many,
they
many times.
recognize when they make mistakes, when they weren't good to other people or whatever, and they feel bad about it. Whereas other places, they don't.
They boast about it.
Yeah.
Up until
So
recently.
that's what's great about Western civilization. And if you are a member of Western civilization and you're so out of touch that you don't know that, educate yourself.
Please read widely.